Welcome back to Kirkcaldy. The 5 Flyers 3, the Sheffield Steelers 2. We're set for quite a third period in this Benson and Hedges Cup semi-final. And the fans are really starting to turn up the atmosphere. And I'm sure Gia's thoroughly enjoying this cracking atmosphere in this rink.
I'm in a mad rush here. What's your favorite team? What's your favorite team? Who's gonna win? I'm falling down the stairs here and madly crushed by all these people. It's absolutely insane. Back to you, Steve. I've got to get out of here.
Okay, well, they're pretty young, the fans up here in Scotland, and they're certainly enjoying the hockey tonight, and not surprisingly, because it's a really cracking game. And who would have thought that the Sheffield Steelers would be trailing here? They're the favourites for the competition, and I'm sure that an awful lot of people thought that Fife wouldn't manage to hold them too well, but they've done it so very well so far. Let's go and join our commentators for the third period. Bob Corral and, first of all, Tony Millard.
Yes, and we know we're in a game here. As you say, Steve, 3-2, and Gia was surrounded by almost as many people as the referee when that goal was disallowed, Bob. But we read it right, or Bob did right next to me, and it's 3-2 to the Flyers, all to play for in the last 20 minutes, and an all-Scottish starting lineup for the 5 Flyers. They're making a nationality call here, Bob.
There's a lot of tradition in this rink, and they hope that that's what's going to carry them forward, certainly into the second leg of this series.
So here we go then with referee Drew Fraser from Dundee dropping the puck for the face-off, and away they go with the Steelers winning the draw there, and it's really a chance to get away, but the puck held up against the boards in front of the benches there. Steve King it is, but chasing back well is skipper Ian Robertson for the 5 Flyers. Winning it on point there, Derek King. Derek King taking the puck round where Mark O'Connor picks it up for the Steelers, who have to come out here, and they do with a vengeance. The hard-skating Cranston has Les Millie with him. Millie, a former 5 Flyer, keeps it in the zone, loses out to King. King clears it out of the defensive zone to Steve King, and Steve King it is, flicks it in untidy here at the start of the period. But they all know that the first goal is going to be vital here. Sheffield need one to draw level. The insurance goal could come the way of the Flyers. It's the Flyers who get it out of their defensive zone. It's knocked back in to be an offside call if the Steelers don't regain possession. They don't. Away come the 5 Flyers, but O'Connor reads it well for the Steelers to set up an attack for them. O'Connor to Nemeth. Nemeth, scorer of the first goal tonight for the Steelers, but here's O'Connor, gets a shot away. Surely Nemeth can get it in. A brilliant save there, and McGrone who goes down. He couldn't have known where that one was.
Bernie McCrone making a sprawling save there. The whole top of the net being empty for Steve Nemeth, but McCrone makes a big save to keep Fife ahead by 1 goal.
O'Connor gets it out for the Steelers, who come away again. A little bit of misplacement there for Chris Keller, who almost runs straight into his own man. And the puck played deep into the Flyers defensive zone where Nemeth gets it across, but it's snuffed out is the danger there by big Doug Marsden. But it's Kelland who's going to take that back in, and the offside ball, because Priestley on the near side here is just over the blue line in front of the puck.
Start of this third period. The ice still being a little shiny. It's a little bit wet in places, although it's a little bit cooler up here in Scotland. One of the things is as a result of 3,000 people being in this building, they create a little heat. That puts wet patches all over the ice, and the players don't like that because the puck gets caught up in it, it stops it, and all sorts of things can happen.
Well, there's Alex Dampier. Certainly he's got a lot of furrowed brow at the moment because his team is behind by the odd goal. But on that heat, certainly when we came into this rink this afternoon, it was freezing cold, but now we're down to shirt sleeves up here because the game is boiling up, and so are we. 3-2 to the 5 Flyers, the home team in front. 5 Flyers, a happy bench at the moment there. Face-off just outside the 5 Flyers blue line. Draw one by Tony Hand. For the Steelers, Neil Abel hits the puck in deep, but once again, this time it's Nicky Chin who moved in too quickly, and again the offside call. The face-off just outside the Flyers' defensive zone once again.
Neil Abel, another former Fife Flyer. He's done a tremendous job. tonight for his side. He's a very steady defenseman. He moves the puck very well. He plays the safe play all the time. Tries not to get himself into trouble. Very big physical fellow as well.
Abel has Shudra with him as the puck's played in here, and once again we get the call, and the puck is going to come right back up the other end of the ring.
Tony Hand not happy with that call. Spoiling tactics at the moment by the Fife Flyers. What's primarily happening is Fife is taking a page out of the Sheffield textbook, and they're plugging that blue line up. They're not going to let Sheffield get into the offensive zone unless it's absolutely a must.
Well, the penalty count so far, certainly we've seen far more penalties go the way of the Sheffield Steelers than we have the way of Fife Flyers, and that perhaps has helped the scoreline to go in favour at the moment of the Flyers. There's Steve King with another. Steve King's second goal of the game. His 16th this season in the Benson and Hedges makes it Flyers 4, the Steelers 2.
The importance of a face-off, but more importantly, picking your man up. This puck pops loose. Stephen King finds himself in alone on Davy Graham. He makes no mistake with a shot. Steve King on the far side of this face-off circle. He's just let go there. No one around him. All in alone. Nice goal.
And the vital face-off to draw one there by the captain, Ian Robertson, and that certainly gave the opportunity to Steve King, and he didn't waste it. 4-2 in favour of the Flyers. Just under 18 minutes remaining in this match. And 2 goals. Well, that might be tough for the Steelers to defend next week down at that giant Sheffield Arena.
As we discussed before, the importance of a face-off from both sides. We see it in the offensive zone when you're trying to get a puck back for perhaps a shot, but the same works in a defensive zone. You cannot let your player go or you're going to get yourself into some trouble.
So the Flyers now back on the defence, and there's the man who scored 2 goals tonight, Stephen King. Certainly a happy 20-year-old, born in this town, and certainly the hero here in this rink this evening in Kirkcaldy. Once again, the Flyers getting out of their defensive zone to the chant of Flyers from the fans, and now the Steelers know they've got a job on their hands. O'Connor has Les Millie with him, but the defensive cover is there on the edge of the blue line. A lovely poke check. King and Plews certainly pulling out the stops there, and Scott Plews, his first game here, having been signed during the week by the Flyers on their blue line, playing impressively tonight. Cranston with the long-range shot. Don't think McGrone quite knew where that was. Away comes number 7 again, Scott Plews, hitting the puck up the ice, and the ball means that Icing takes the puck right back up to the other end. A vital face-off this. It's time the Steelers pull one back. They haven't scored since the first period.
Sheffield defensemen will be aware of the liveliness, especially around the kickboard area of the barrier, the lower part of the barrier in this Kirkcaldy ice rink. The puck comes off it. It's very, very lively. If they can get it in, a player coming in late on the play will get a very good shot on goal.
So deep in the corner, the action is tough here. Ice hockey players are tough. And once again, the whistle goes, and Sheffield Steelers need these chances, need the face-offs up at that end of the rink. And certainly Ron Shudra there, their captain, knows what he's got to encourage his team to do.
There has been a flow to this game, and at the moment it's a very static flow, and it's in the favor of the Fife Flyers. One of the biggest problems here is that Sheffield have got to try and gain momentum. They've got to get themselves back into this match.
Here come the Flyers. Morris has Morrison with him. Hand chasing back. Well, good piece of back checking by Tony Hand, chasing all the way back with Morrison and thwarting the danger. Ron Shudra it is for the Sheffield Steelers to clear. Away come the Steelers now. Skating hard, Priestley gets the shot in. The catching hand of McGrone is safe and sure with that one.
Ken Priestley has been somewhat quiet tonight. He'll be looking to erupt as well. He's wanting to try and get himself into this game. And he's the type of guy that certainly can do it. He's had 21 goals so far in this competition, but he finds himself just stepping over the blue line with no one else really around him to help him out. He just takes a shot on McCrone, hoping that that's going to cause some sort of confusion.
The Flyers get it out of their defensive zone once again. Frank Morris, number 47, the long-range slap shot kicked away by David Graham. Steelers being perhaps not expected to be forced back on the defensive so often in this match. As the Flyers come forward again, almost a chance for Morris on the edge of the crease. As they push forward, Ron Shudra forced to defend, using his strength, taking the puck round the boards. One back by Priestley. Abel's on this side. Abel gets it out of the defensive zone. But here comes Palmer. Scorer of the first goal tonight for Fife Flyers, and a hero. Steelers have to pull this back. 4-2 it is in favour of the home side, Fife Flyers. Doug Marsden on the blue line. Disciplined defence certainly from the Flyers here, Bob, and perhaps they're going to need to if the Steelers stage a grandstand finish.
Well, speaking to Doug Marsden before this game, he said to me, you know, there's a lot more pressure on Sheffield than there is perhaps on ourselves. We can get a couple of lucky bounces and play a very physical style, keep the puck, you know, in close proximity, we're going to have a game on our hands. And I think that's a fair comparison as to actually what has transpired so far tonight.
Well, everybody getting a breather with that whistle, and certainly the players deserving it in what is a fabulous Benson the Hedges semi-final here. 4-2 to the Fife Flyers, the home team in front and seemingly in control, and their defensive qualities tonight have been absolutely outstanding in this match so far.
Anytime there's been a loose puck, the Fife Flyers have certainly been there in strong comparison. They've never been outnumbered on the puck, and as a result of that, you know, they're gaining possessions when they need them.
Well, Kellen needs all his experience here to boost his side, the alternate captain for the Sheffield Steelers. There's Mike O'Connor with him. Chase down the left, but Robertson is back across there, the captain for the Fife Flyers, to clear the danger. A little bit of a muddle, in fact, but they do retain or regain possession round behind their own net. And here's a chance coming their way, but the puck is gathered just on the wrong side of the red line by Robertson, and that was oh so near to a breakaway goal.
Transition from defense to offense, a very good play between Derek King on the defense of the Fife Flyers and Ian Robertson. He saw his man high there. He tried to get that long pass to him, but as Tony had said, just this side of the red line, and it goes all the way back into the Fife Flyer territory.
The drums are beating thick and fast, and the hearts are beating thick and fast to the Fife Flyers here, because this could be a memorable night for them against the all-powerful Sheffield Steelers, as McCrone knocks it away again. A lot of thought seemingly going into the line changes here tonight for the Fife Flyers as they come away again. The influential Palmer has Marsden with him. Morrison is 17, holding that puck up well. Morris serves a dummy. Holds the puck against the boards to win a face-off, probably there. Yes, he does. In fact, the face-off very close to the Sheffield Steelers goal, and now we're getting some version of the Mexican wave around this arena. Quite an atmosphere here, and certainly their fans getting behind the home side.
That Mexican wave is none other than created by Tony Hand, probably the all-time greatest British player to ever play the game. And anytime he sees himself in the Kirkcaldy Ice Rink, because he originally is from Edinburgh, you know, he gets the flavor of the fans around here. He's beat them a few times, and they're aware of that. But, you know, it's all good fun in the sport.
Just over 14 minutes remaining in the game. 4-2 to the Fife Flyers as Morris keeps it in the zone, but somehow the lack of plexiglass, and once again the puck goes out of the arena. We have another stoppage, and certainly I think the line changes are going to come all the quicker as we go to the closing stages of here, and the players tend to get tired.
For the second time in this game, we see the situation where the puck has actually gone out of the playing area surface, and the face-off reverts back to where the puck was shot out.
Marsden is to Palmer, and Palmer round behind the net. Ron Shudra provides the cover and the brains perhaps in defence there now for the Sheffield Steelers to try and get them going forward. They need a goal. Les Milley skating hard. Les Milley's speed nearly counts, but the defensive cover from Marsden so vital, having a fine game on the blue line tonight for the Five Flyers. As Tommy Plummer comes back, Cranston is with him. Milley and Plummer skating in front of him. That's a pass across two lines, surely, and the referee calls it, or rather the linesman does. A lot of thought being given to this, and the line changing here, Bob, on the Five Flyers bench to preserve this lead. What's the tactics going to be from player coach Mark Morrison?
Well, he's trying to match lines up. He's not going to make sure that he's outshone here. In other words, he's got a line like Ken Priestley out there, along with Steve Nemeth and Tony Hand, who are clearly good goal scorers. As a threesome, he's going to provide power with power, and you can see that he keeps his own self out there, along with Mark Morrison and Chris Palmer. You fight fire with fire, in other words.
Well, the big guns are there at the moment, and Mark Morrison, okay, player coach he may be, but of the 4 goals for Fife tonight, he scored 1 and assisted on 2 more, and certainly playing his part. Number 17, Mark Morrison, so influential, born in Vancouver, an ice hockey brain. Round behind his own net for the Steelers. There's Mike O'Connor. He's big, he's beefy, and he's powerful here because it comes to Priestley. Priestley gets the shot away. And McGrone's not going to drop that one down on the ice. He's going to stop play, give his defence a chance of a breather, a chance to consolidate with men behind the puck.
A nice little 2-on-1 situation, or what was looking to be a 2-on-1 situation. As Steve Nemeth was skating in hard on the wide side, but Frank Boris managed to catch him, which allowed Ken Priestley no opportunity but to shoot the puck on McCrone.
Well, 4-2 it is at the moment in favour of the Five Flyers. And many people might have expected more goals here tonight, but some of the defensive work, certainly by the Flyers when it mattered, has been important. Here they come though on the break with Doug Marsden. Palmer's with him. Morris is with him. Morris goes in behind. Marsden flicks it across goal. Nobody on the crease. Here come the Steelers to Tony Hand. Hand flicks it inside. Could Priestley get the shot away? Marsden with the cover again. Great effort from Marsden here tonight. On the edge of the crease, though, could this be the opportunity? A diving save by McGrone, who goes full stretch to keep out that effort from the Steelers, really. And here comes Morris again. It's end-to-end stuff. Great hockey in this rink here. Morris beats his man, and just wide goes Robertson, because some brilliant skating there provided the opportunity. But here come the Steelers once again, this time with Kelland. Kelland on the blue line, doesn't connect as he might. Clearance there, they're battling. Wilson it is this time with the clearance. 4-2 with just over 11 minutes remaining here in Kirkcaldy. 4-2 to the Flyers. Remember the second leg at the Sheffield Arena next week. So the face-off once again right up the other end. The Flyers defensive zone, but they're working hard, and certainly one gets the feeling they're playing like men inspired tonight.
They're sticking to a game plan, especially at the moment, playing spoiling tactics. And, you know, this is playing on the stride of the Sheffield Steelers. There's no question about it that they are getting frustrated by what's happening out there, but they've got enough depth and strength to come back, and I can assure you that this game is not over yet.
Certainly we know where those fans are from, and the sound of Scotland is making its presence felt. There was football in town this afternoon with Raith Rovers and Glasgow Rangers, but we know there's ice hockey here in town tonight. Robertson holding his man behind the net. A helmet lying on the ice. That's being lost by Plews. Your Brinner, eat your heart out.
Ian Robertson perhaps hanging on to his man just a little bit too much. And I think he finds himself sitting in the penalty box for 2 minutes for holding.
Well, that means a power play coming the way of the Sheffield Steelers, I think for the second time so far this evening.
This is an opportunity where Sheffield will have to try and get themselves back into this hockey game. They need to get a goal off this power play. They've come far and few between so far. But let's just see what happens on this one. There'll be a lot of shots on the goal, I can assure you.
So skipper Ian Robertson is in the sin bin, and the big guns are out for the Sheffield Steelers as Ron Shudra gets the shot away, knocked down by McGrone and cleared out of the ice altogether. I don't think he intended to put it there, but in the end it finished up in the crowd just inside the Flyers defensive zone.
Perhaps Mark Morrison had a little bit more time in that situation than maybe what he felt he did. As a result, he just ends up shooting the puck out of the ice, and the faceoff goes back into Fife territory. Ian Robertson, the Great Britain international for the Fife Flyers, he's been a mainstay here. He's come through the thick and thin of the club. When the club went down into the first division, he was here to help them come back, regain promotion, and he's been a big part of their lineup throughout the years.
And, of course, he's the Flyers captain with 7 Benson and Hedges goals to his name so far this season. The rest will perhaps doing good, but his team is going to feel the pressure, perhaps, as the Sheffield Steelers mount the power play. Shudra back on point. Nicky Chin's with him. Chin gets it back to Shudra. Can Shudra get the shot away? Yes, he does. Somehow McGrone gets down to that, brings his legs together as the puck threatens to run loose, and that is good goaltending.
John McGrone in the Fife nets, perhaps some rate as the best goalkeeper in the country. There's no question when he gets hot, he is very good. Sheffield try and key on Ron Shudra on this power play. He gets the shot from the point. The puck pops loose, but McGrone manages to hang on once again.
Priestley wins the puck to Shudra. Shudra for the Steelers keeps it deep in the attacking zone, but he's waiting back for a second chance to fire in the shot as he waits on point. The puck is back to Shudra. Shudra gets the shot away. Once again, McGrone is down with one back indeed quickly by Tony Hand. Hand takes it round behind the net for the Steelers, gets it out onto the edge of the crease, but Nicky Chin fails to connect. The puck is cleared, and that gives a welcome breather for the Fife Flyers. Robertson's up in the penalty box, and he's yelling instructions to his team. Robertson leaning over the barrier, encouraging his team. Here come the Steelers. Shudra gets the shot away, knocked away by McGrone. But Robertson is waiting to come back on the ice. He's been yelling at his team, a true captain in every shape of the word. Well, certainly McGrone there has been under pressure. 34 shots so far have rained in on him in this match against the 20 the other end on Dave Graham. And that's a reflection of the play, but the team in front, well, 4-2 it is to the Fife Flyers.
Anytime you get into a tough situation, you need to have hot goaltending. That's what Bernie McGrone has done for the Fife Flyers here tonight.
The Steelers with a power play. The men advantage. Staying calm. Out to Mike O'Connor. O'Connor gets the shot in. Nemeth round behind the net. Marsden affects the clearance once again. Right up the ice. There'll be no icing call here because, of course, they're were short-numbered then, but they're not now because skipper Robertson is just about to come back on the ice. He's waiting at the gate. Can he get there? Yes, Robertson gets his stick out. He's yelling at his teammates, hold on till I get there. As the Steelers keep it in, Robertson's back on the ice. Can he be? Is he there in time? It's Marsden who dives on that one. But it's back on point to Kelland as the Steelers keep the pressure up. McGrone falls on it. In the end, the puck runs loose. McGrone's out of his net. Scrappy play round behind the net, but it's the Flyers that are under pressure. Marsden is having a great game in defence for the Flyers. So much time on the ice and so much effort going into his play. Kelland's waiting for it on point. The quick turn there from Steve Nemeth. Nemeth has Cranston with him in the corner. Robertson is battling after having had that breather for Fife Flyers. Just over 8 minutes remaining on the period. Still 4-2 to Fife. 17 with the shot is O'Connor. The puck cleared up the ice. There'll be an icing call here, and I think both teams will change their lines with a vengeance.
Great play, some very good one-on-one battles out there. When you talk about the sport of ice hockey, it still reverts back down to those one-on-one battles. And one of the reasons why the Fife Flyers find themselves up 4-2 is they've been winning a good percentage of those, especially in key situations, in their own zone or in the offensive zone.
But the man that stood between the Fife Flyers or held them there is the goaltender, Bernie McCrone, a 31-year-old from Ayr. A self-employed mechanic he is, and he's certainly been engineering all sorts of saves here tonight for the Fife Flyers. Who win it again. Derek King, Chris Palmer. Palmer whacks the puck around with little control in that one to allow the Steelers to get it back, and Abel it is who fires it into the corner. But Derek King provides the effort, and Alistair Reid helps him with that one. Palmer on the break with Morris. Tony Hand coming across. Defensive work by Tony Hand, getting back there to good effect to allow Priestley to bring it away to Tony Hand again for the Steelers. Shudras on his right, and with him 4-2 to the Flyers at the moment, with just over 7 minutes remaining. The Flyers clear it just outside their defensive zone, but somehow Steelers get possession. Shudra, dare I say it, slips on thin ice there. And had he won that, well, they could have been launching an attack. He's got to go back and start all over again, which he does as Tommy Plummer comes down the right wing for Steelers into Tony Hand. Hand has a man on his left, which is Priestley. Priestley gets it back to the edge of the crease, and somehow the Flyers clear it away again. The overworked Morrison down the left. Morris is with him. Palmer is back with him on the edge of the crease, and somehow Graham gets down when he couldn't have seen that one.
You work hard to get your bounces in any game that you play at, and the Fife Flyers are certainly doing that tonight. They're working very hard. They seem to be getting the bounces. Lots of struggles in front of nets and so on and so forth. Davy Graham just covering up on that situation. But anytime Sheffield has tried to put some offensive pressure on, the puck's either been bouncing out, it's been going off a leg or whatever. They're not getting a true shot on the goal. Fife are doing a very good job of plugging up the front part of their own net.
Just short of 7 minutes remaining. 4-2 to Fife Flyers, who keep the puck in the zone, but Nicky Chin brings it away for the Steelers. Chin goes down the right wing. Men are filling in. Men are filling in on point, but up he goes for a very high save there from McGrone, and you can hardly call that a shot on goal.
Late stages of the game, perhaps we'll see some frustration setting in, short tempers starting to flare, so on and so forth, but Sheffield will want to try and hold their composure if they're going to keep themselves in this game. Despite what may transpire, they'll still be happy, even if they're going back to Sheffield in a 2-goal deficit.
Well, that's how it stands at the moment with 4-2 to the home side, Fife Flyers, but Sheffield pressing in this third period. Nicky Chin round the boards. Marsden again having a fine game as he holds Chin against the boards and allows the puck to run loose to his own men. But Les Billion is battling against his old club. Chin shoves his man away. Comes out to 2-goal Steve King. Tries to put Wilson away, but O'Connor comes across well for the Sheffield Steelers, who have to win it back. And come round, it's going to be Chris Kellen behind his own net. Sees a chance here. Powerful skating from Cranston. Cranston looks for the man, has to take it on himself. Reid provides the cover. But O'Connor wins it back. If O'Connor can get a shot away here, and he can't because Steve King is back-checking well. They get it out of the defensive zone. O'Connor's having to push forward. Big, bruising defenseman playing his part in the Steelers' attack. And this time for Steelers, new man Scott Blues brings it away. The 21-year-old Kapuli boy who's back with his hometown club for the first time tonight. Here comes Steelers with the influential Steve Nemeth. But again, Morris, so busy, number 47, gets across there to cover to allow Kellen to try and send his team away again. And he does to Steve Nemeth, the talented Tony Hand. But Hand runs out of space. Panic measures in the Flyers' defensive zone. The Steelers press forward with the puck up in the corner. Morrison is there, so too is Derek King. Palmer's in close attention as it's played round the boards to Morris. Morris can't get him out of his defensive zone as yet. And it's held up against the boards and will have a face-off here.
The Fife Flyers will be keying on certain individuals out on the ice at the moment. They'll be marking players like Ken Priestley, to try and alleviate him and keep him out of the play. They don't want him to create a scoring opportunity or get a scoring opportunity himself. Players like Frank Morris will deny themselves the opportunity to perhaps gain advantage and take an offensive threat, rather to hang on to players like Ken Priestley and prevent them from scoring goals.
Just under 5 minutes remaining, and much of this third period has been played deep in the Five Flyers defensive zone. But I think we've got tactical changes and a timeout called here by Five Flyers. So the crowd enjoying it while the Flyers have a conflab in front of their bench with a timeout. And for the first time tonight, he gets a chance for Bernie McGrone to go over and have a little drink at his bench. And certainly Alex Dampier is talking to his team at the Sheffield Steelers bench, and tactics abound here.
They are. Unlikely are we to see Davy Graham come out of the Sheffield nets, unless, of course, perhaps Sheffield scores another goal to make the game 4-3. Because in the back of Alex Dampier's mind, he's still saying to himself, we've still got another leg in this series to go. We've got all kinds of opportunities going back into Sheffield in front of 9,000 fans to get ourselves back into this series.
Just under 5 minutes remaining, 4-2 to the Flyers after the timeout at the bench. And as Bob says there, of course, we might lose a goaltender as people grab a goal in the second leg to try and tie up the match. But in the first leg, well, there's all to play for at Sheffield in a week's time as the Flyers clear it. Sheffield might adopt a damage limitation exercise here, although I'm sure they won't deny themselves of a chance of a goal if it comes, as Cranston puts the puck in, but the defensive cover is deep, and that man Marsden is again there. But of course, Morrison takes the puck over the blue line, but Palmer's too quick, and the offside call on the blue line.
We often wonder, and I'm sure that we've seen it time and time again, is why do players actually go offside, you know, when there's really little or nothing to benefit by it. But you take, for example, Chris Palmer's situation there. He knows that there's a player coming up behind him, and if he's going to maintain or try and stay in front of the play, he's got to keep it moving. As a result, the offside sometimes.
Sheffield looking for the opportunity to get forward and give themselves a goal chance, because they haven't scored this period so far. The long-range shot goes in from Cranston, knocked away by McGrone. Cranston picks it up and sends it round behind the net, where his own man picks it up very quickly, and the turn goes in there from Les Millie. And now there's a bit of fun down in front of the net, but the referee certainly playing it with common sense perhaps here this evening. Sometimes we get penalties called, sometimes we don't. Tonight they let much of it go.
Carrying on from that point, that's one thing a referee will certainly try and do. He'll maintain composure within the game. He wants the players to play. He's just wanting to sit aside and let the game flow. But if he feels that it's getting out of hand, he's going to clamp down on both teams. This is late stages of the game. Don't expect any big calls or any funny calls at this stage of the game. He'll try and let things go and let the game flow.
And Drew Fraser, the referee, has read it right throughout tonight, because he got that goal right and was disputed and perhaps turned the match in the second period. Just under 4 minutes remaining as the puck once again cleared deep out of the Flyers zone. Here comes O'Connor skating hard, flicking the puck deep in now, back into that zone where Nicky Chin chases it round the boards, but Palmer gains possession to set the Flyers away. Pass missed by Morris. Morrison chases it. Morrison flicks the puck out. The Flyers change literally on the fly as the clock ticks on, and they lead by 4 goals to 2. Tony Hand skips inside his man. Robertson, the busy captain, gets back to clear for the Flyers. But a chance coming the way of Tony Hand as Plews goes across to deliver a heavy body check on Nicky Chin, but almost misses him. Chin nearly has the last laugh, but misses that on the edge of the crease. Here come the Flyers. Fast skating from Robertson. Robertson gets the slap shot away, and Graham down to save it and kill it dead.
Players pinching in the Fife zone. Sheffield trying to create some offense. As a result, that puck comes out. Ian Robertson actually going down on a 2-on-1 situation. He feels he's in alone here. Chris Palmer to the left part of your screen. Robertson elects to take the shot. Davy Graham covers up for the save.
So here comes Sheffield once again. Fast skating with Steve Nemeth, checks back, has Abel on point, can't get it back to him. Flyers go into cover. Whacked away by the captain Ian Robertson. Right up the ice. It'll be an icing call if it goes beyond the line, and it doesn't because Neil Abel collects it first. 2.5 minutes remaining. 4-2 to fight Flyers as Les Millie comes away. Cranston retains possession. Somehow they clear it outside the defensive zone as Robertson fishes it away, but it's totally missed by Ron Shudra for Sheffield Steelers, who are probably going to have to look to a sterling effort at the Sheffield Arena next week to pull this back as Morris almost gets another one and does. A brilliant goal from Mark Morrison from following up there.
Loose puck in the zone. Craig Wilson just gets it out front. Mark Morrison, 1 shot, 2 shots, puts his rebound away. Nice play by Craig Wilson to get that puck out in front to Mark Morrison. He's in the slot area, bangs home his rebound for perhaps the biggest goal for the Flyers so far in this game.
A 3-goal margin now with just over 2 minutes remaining on the night. Mark Morrison grabbing his 2nd goal of the night, his 19th in Benson and Hedges competition so far this season, and certainly in his first game as player coach, he could hardly look for better. (5-2) to the 5 Flyers, under 2 minutes remaining on the night. Here come the Flyers again. Is this a chance? Plummer gets back. Hand is skating forward fast. Can Tony Hand salvage something from this as he gets in the shot? Kicked away by McGrone. The shot goes in from Priestley. And it counts, it counts. Priestley pulls it back for the Sheffield Steelers. A 3rd goal from Priestley, who hasn't been on the mark tonight, but he gets one there.
This is a beautiful goal. Against the flow of the play, and it goes right into the top corner of the net. Comes back out on to hit McCrone and goes back into net to confirm it. Cross ice pass in the zone. Priestley with the one-timer. Goes right up into that top corner. Beautiful goal.
That could be vital in the final countdown because where Steelers are concerned, they've pulled it back to a 2-goal margin. Flyers 5, Steelers 3, 1.5 minutes remaining. Plenty of action, a marvellous game of ice hockey. And could this be another goal for Steve King to complete his hat-trick? No, it's wide somehow. Really the goal at his mercy, and that could have been a killer. Les Millie comes away, has Cranston with him. McGrone flicks it away. Only as far as Shudra. Shudra gets the shot. McGrone flicks it away this time. The beleaguered goaltender has certainly played his part, and here come the Flyers once again. It's open stuff as Robertson gets the shot away, palmed away by the stick of Dave Graham. 5-3 to the Flyers. We're in the last minute of the game. As Derek King needs composure here for Flyers, and has it. 40 seconds remaining. Flicked up the ice. Graham knocks it down to Kelland as Steelers try to mount an attack and try to pull one more back. It's 5-3 to the home side, the 5 Flyers. We're in the last half minute of the game. Blues ran behind his net. The Flyers fans have enjoyed this. The Steelers aren't out of it. 2 goals in it going to the 2nd leg. Just over a quarter of a minute remaining with the face-off deep in the Flyers zone. The closing minutes, will they settle for this at the moment, Bob?
Well, Fife have to be very pleased with their performance and result in this first leg of this Benson and Hedges semi-final. No doubt they've got their crowd behind them and their support, and they'd like to take that with them going into the 2nd leg in Sheffield.
Seconds remaining as Ron Shudra sends the puck hard and deep, but I'm sure that Derek King, Alistair Reid rather, whacks it away, and this time the breather is what they'll want. 5 seconds remaining. Can the Steelers fashion a goal? The hooter goes, it's time. A marvellous ice hockey match. 3-2 it was at the end of the second period, but Steve King and Mark Morrison scored for the the Flyers to put them in front, and seemingly 3 goals in front. But a goal from Priestley, the third of the game for the Sheffield Steelers, has seen it end. Fife Flyers 5, Sheffield Steelers 3.